Mm. Hi.
Hey!
Hello, everybody.
So
Oh, that Vic.
today, here we are, just fresh after opening weekend of the Antman and the Wasp Quantumania. And we're here to talk about it with you guys. So I saw it Friday night. I want to say Jack saw it Thursday night. Vic, when did you see it?
I just finished watching it.
Hey, tonight, fresh on the brain. Love to see it.
That is
So, what do you guys think about it? Quick thoughts.
quick thoughts. I thought that this was one of the better Ant-Man movies. I did, in fact, enjoyed it. I like that it kind of just jumped right into the action. And my last thoughts, and definitely spoilers. Warning: this review's gonna have spoilers. And I guess the last thing is, I saw something recently, and a lot of people were like, "Oh, well, the Internals were better." Shut up.
Who said that?
A bunch of people who were, some people said this was underrated, and I just want to say outright off rip, they were under the influence because what the hell, man?
Yeah, I don't know about comparing it to the Eternals. Like, that's a bit harsh.
Yeah, I think people given the score. I don't really pay attention to it. Like when I do a movie and I watch a movie, I go, "Hey, I enjoyed that because A, B, and C." So, but when I saw that, I thought that was ridiculous. But other than that, just spoiler off rip, I did enjoy this movie.
All right. I want to say the Rotten Tomato score wasn't that good, though. I'll have to look it up. But go ahead, Vic. What were you saying?
I love Hank Pym. Hank Pym is my new MCU favorite character. Yo, this guy's brain is on another level. I love Kirk Douglas in these movies. Like Ant-Man is an acquired taste. But I just love the technology, man. And this guy, I mean, yo, what he does with these ants, woo! I
So
love it.
it's the genius that you're falling in love with.
Yes,
Okay. Okay.
yes, the ideas that comes out of this guy's brain, and just
Mhm.
the entire MCU just makes me think back to like other things where they would flash back and they would show him like in the 60s and just how far he's come and how he's still learning. I love it. I just love his whole story. I really do. And just everything that happens surrounding him. Because a lot of this stuff is because of him, honestly. Like this entire cast really. Um
Mhm.
so like I just just putting everything together. And that's one of the things why I say like it's always good to watch everything because it's just way more entertaining that way. It's callbacks to other things. It was great. It was great. It was great. It was great. I could talk too much, but it was great.
See, for me, right? I um initial thoughts were that it does start off like almost instantly into plot, like you're just just in the story. Boom. Um, the fact that the daughter Casey made like this communicator to go through to the quantum realm, send messages through. That's interesting, but honestly, I'm a little tired of everyone being like a super genius. I know that's kind of how the comic books are, but it's like, dang, what about average everyday superheroes? What about people who aren't super geniuses? Do they have powers? Do they have something? Um, but when they did go into like the quantum realm, I liked it. I thought visually it was pleasing. I enjoyed the pace of the movie, and most of all, I enjoyed seeing Kang and Kang the motion picture. Fantastic. Can't wait to talk about him some more later in the episode. But yeah, it was good. It was good for me. I'm surprised that the overall audience score is so low on Rotten Tomatoes. I want to say, hold on, let me pull it up. But you guys go ahead. Go ahead while I'm pulling it up.
Yeah, I don't know why their score was like that. Part of me thinks it's because they were just, oh, it's an Ant-Man movie. But I agree, the
Hmm.
visuals were great. There was this one scene where he starts having like illusions, and then there's like multiple versions, which I thought was visually it looked so cool, and also it was very funny at the same time because then there was that random Baskin Roberts version of him, which I thought was that was just random. I was like, what's
going on here?
I said, where's your suit, dude? But it was funny. And also too, you talked about Kang, and I know we're gonna have a big discussion about him. I mean, he was great. He was honestly very, very, very much great in this movie. But it was really cool to see MODOK. Like, I got familiar with MODOK because I played Marvel vs. Capcom. So that was the first time I ever seen him. So when I saw him, I was like, oh, that's so cool. They're bringing out characters that, and that's something I really like. What Marvel does is like they'll bring out characters that you're not super familiar with. You know, we know the Green Goblins, we know the Lex Luthors, you know, like the top villains. So I thought that was really cool, and I thought him being out there, the reveal of MODOK, because I don't know a whole lot about him and stuff like that, but that bring it and tie back into Ant-Man 1 and it being the well, he was like the ex-lover of Hope. But when it was him, and I gotta say, visually, the helmet looks so cool. I gotta say, the helmet looked cool, but when you just see this long ass face, I'm not gonna lie, and I had it in 3D. I said, oh man. I said, I didn't ask for any of this. I went to go see with my niece. She had a good time. Shout out to my niece because I bought popcorn and it was the Ant-Man helmet. And because I'm a great uncle, I gave it away. I should have kept it, but I gave it away because I'm great. But yeah, visually, I mean, not visually. MODOK being there was great. I just like that tie back in.
The CGI on him, though, was horrible. Was that?
I think it was meant to be that, though. I do think it was purposely meant to do that, to show how disfigured he's supposed to look. The helmet and everything's supposed to give this, look, like that cool factor, if it makes sense. But then when you see him without it, and you just see this long face. It's just
now, question: is that the same guy from movie 1? Because he looked so distorted to the point that it was like, is this a different actor?
No, it's the same. It's the same. It's him. It's him.
It's the same guy. I mean, that whole thing was a shocker, unexpected.
Yes.
And the fact that Darren came back and was in the quantum realm and like was this guy, like that whole thing was just a shocker. I didn't expect that at all. I'll tell you one thing that I appreciate is that the spoilers weren't really spoilers, if that makes sense. Like the movie credits definitely didn't give away the movie. So I'm not the movie credits, you know what I mean? The
trailer.
The trailers. They didn't give away the movie. And this is definitely one of those things because when he first showed up, I saw the 2 wheels and I was wondering if it was gonna be Ghost Rider. So in my mind, I was just like, wait a minute, like is Ghost Rider in this movie? Like, what's going on? But then when this guy showed up and it turned out to be Darren, I was just like, wow. That is hilarious and then the other thing is just that I feel like it added layers to the whole storyline because more than anything, a lot of this movie was centered around Michelle Pfeiffer.
Yeah.
She
looks fantastic. She
really
great.
do. She looks like she has not aged at all. I said, right. That's Catwoman.
Yeah.
It's just the gray. If they would have dyed that gray blonde, she could be.
But you know what? Not for nothing, but she rocked that gray though. She rocked the hell out of that.
When Bruno Mars says that white gold, Michelle Pfeiffer that white gold, he means it because wow, this woman, man, she is just fantastic, and all of the stuff that goes on in this movie. Actually, one of my favorite parts was just like when Hank Penn was like, really that guy? And she was like, I was down there for 30 years. I had needs. And they was just going back and forth. And then he goes like, well, I met this girl named Janet and it didn't work out. Really? What happened? She wasn't you, baby. I love that whole thing.
Yeah, he had to smooth it over with that.
No, when he
said
that.
I was like, what? That was great.
That's how you do it, man. And I like that. And I like their chemistry too. I think also too, because I think that's so important. When you have like a cast of people and you can say, well, they've been in like 2-3 movies together. That don't mean nothing. Sometimes you could just look and see like you see there's no chemistry. There was a lot of really good chemistry here. Yeah. I'm glad that you pointed that out, Vic. Because the whole family aspect of everything from like you said, Michelle Pfeiffer, Douglas. Is it Kirk Douglas? I want to be sure I get this. All right, cool. And everybody else involved in here, and it just felt like a genuine family. So I thought the cast and everything, and I agreed earlier too. Agree earlier on something you said earlier too. See, was the pacing was really good. I mean, there's a lot of spots I feel like I'm missing out, and I feel like once we're done, I'm like, but that spot was going. I forgot to beat it. Yes.
I know what I want to talk about because we were just talking about chemistry, and the chemistry between Kang and Janet was palpable. I'm like, hold on, what happened between
Right.
these two?
Yeah.
Because it was given very much, friends, but something happened between these years. Nobody can convince me otherwise. He was way too coddling of her. Like
Yeah.
he was like, all right, I promise you I'm gonna bring you back to your daughter.
Yeah.
At the end, when everyone else was like, fighting in the war, he deliberately pulled her away, brought her to the throne room, shall we say. It's like, what happened here? Like what's the tea? it's definitely
mean,
some chemistry.
I don't think they were talking. I
Murray
don't think they were worried
and,
about the tea. I think it was something else they were worried about.
They was worried about the something.
Yeah, no, because you do see that. You do see that,
Yeah.
and also too, she's been in
And
this.
why didn't he just kill her?
Because I think he's still. I think this part, because there's parts in this movie. I mean to cut you off. I apologize, but there's parts in this movie where I feel like he still cares about her. Like there's so many spots I feel like he could have just took her out because he beat the hell out of Antman and Wasp. I mean, I love the spot where they shrunk and they tried to attack him. He just and like he had this annoyed face. He just plucked them. He literally, I said, "Thank you, thank you." Can you just? But I don't know. I just think that he has feelings for because there's a lot of the dialogue and things where he just didn't. I don't know. He just didn't go for the move, and he just seemed like a killer. He'll go for. He'll go for. Yes.
Why didn't he kill her after the fact? And then even when at the end of the movie, why didn't he kill her after she betrayed him? In his eyes, why didn't he kill her?
Well, you spend enough time with people. You get to know them, you care about them. In a situation like that, you're not gonna want to. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I call them my family.
They spent a lot of time. They really got to know each other. I mean, mind you, from Bill Murray, the one thing I noticed with both of them, with Bill Murray and with him, is just that they knew and remembered a lot of personal information.
Right.
About her.
They called Hope Peanut and all of that, and knew everything about ants and asked the question, "What is an ant?" Like that was hilarious. But they spent a lot of time with her,
right?
And they got to know her, and like I wish they could unpack a little bit more into that, but clearly that would take too long. But like, there's just a lot of unknown. Like a lot of the parts where you would see the rest of her family just looking at her like, "Mom, what's going on?" I feel like the rest of the audience was feeling that way as well because that whole time you were just looking at it like, all right, what's coming next? What's coming next? What's coming next? Which was really was interesting to me about that movie. Like Michelle Pfeiffer she was a great character.
Yeah.
Everybody, was centered around her.
So what was your guys' favorite scene in the movie?
Take the floor, Vic.
Okay, when Ant-Man was seriously Ant-Man this time, where him and all of his variants created a mountain the way that ants do. I thought that was really, really interesting because, he literally just became Ant-Man and did what he had to do. So I found that whole thing. It's like never give up. Just that's a great message of never giving up and always finding a way. Even if you have to take yourself and climb on top of yourself. Like it was very symbolic. It was very interesting. And it just gave another it just made Ant-Man a cooler character. Because the thing about Ant-Man is it's just a guy in a suit, just like Batman. But the cool thing about this guy is that this guy's dumb. He's just regular. He's not special. Like he's smart as far as stealing and as far as being like cunning or whatever, but for the most part, he's just a dad that's just trying to do his best.
But I think he's dumb in comparison to all the super geniuses because in the first movie they say he like went to like Harvard or like some Ivy League genius guy. Then he got into like theft or something, right?
I don't remember all that. I
just agree with jail. He was in jail and then he got taken out of jail because
before he went to jail.
No, he was.
I think he's average.
Introduced as a guy that was trying to get his life together to get his daughter back together.
Right.
Get his daughter.
Well, get his daughter back, not back together. She ain't breaking pieces.
He was in jail, and then his daughter's wife, his daughter's mother, she married a cop, and like he's all like dealing with all this crap. I think you got to watch it back. You know what I mean? Because
I don't think he's I think he's an average,
But-
average intelligent kind of human being.
yeah,
You know,
he's
and
just a
especially when you
regular
put
guy.
him in the same, if you put him in the same room as Tony Stark,
Mhm,
Hank Pym, who are like inventors and
mhm.
geniuses, yeah, he's gonna come off like an idiot.
Yeah,
And I don't even
so,
think he's an
like,
idiot. Let me take that back. He's not an idiot. He's just average intelligence
I think he's
exactly. And then
above
the fact
average,
that
guys.
like
I swear to God, he did. The reason why what was the reason why he went to jail?
because he stole.
he was stealing.
He was
But he
stealing.
was stealing something like not just average every day. He was like
No,
hacking into something.
No.
he's
Let me look
he's
at
good
it.
at picking locks.
Yeah,
He's
he was
really
like
good at
a
picking.
petty thief.
Exactly.
He
He's
was a
really
petty
good at
thief. He
picking locks,
wasn't.
and what he stole
Yeah, he wasn't
was
hacking codes, see, and finding
yeah,
out. He wasn't breaking into the government and.
exactly. Like he met Hope after he stole the suit, and then this whole thing. Like
Yeah.
that's how they got him. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? But now he's all part of the family, and like
Yeah.
in this movie, there's just a lot more layers to him, to his
Mhm.
daughter. Clearly, his daughter is gonna be something because he's already
She's
teaching
gonna
her.
be part of that, like that young
Yeah,
Avengers. You can see that
yeah.
they're slowly starting to build
Hmm.
into that, and I think that's also really cool because
It
we did.
says electronics genius Scott Lang turned to burglary. He was a genius before. He was above average intelligence.
Is that for the comics?
It is from Marvel.com. I don't know if it's for the movie or for the. It just says Marvel.com.
But I get what you're saying. He's smart. I guess that's the point.
Yeah, he's smarter than all of us. If he was in a room with all of us, he would make us.
So everyone knows I wasn't gonna make no argument. Like I color on the wall for entertainment, so I don't need to be put into that. You don't need to drag me down any further. See the superior. How dare you?
I'm just saying.
I already can't swim, and I'm just drowning even further.
I mean, yo, you know, if you watch back
He's
the
an
first
electrical
movie,
engineer.
if you watch back the first movie, you're definitely not gonna get that vibe from him. You know what I'm saying?
Well, you know what it is too. I think
you're
his
not gonna get
character.
no vibe from him that's like Sheldon Cooper or any of these guys in Big Bang
Right.
Theory that are like geniuses. No, that's
I-
not the
I-
vibe
I-
you get from this guy. This guy is just a regular guy, right? And the whole point is just that this guy consistently ends up saving the day.
Hmm.
And he's the main reason why everybody came back from the blip. And mind you,
You know what? No. I'm sorry. I gotta cut you off right there.
No,
You're
you mean?
absolutely wrong. You're
How you
absolutely wrong. You know why? You know who's the real savior of
The
that?
rat.
the rat,
Absolutely. We're gonna
Oh,
give that
Scott.
rat his credit. It wasn't Scott. Scott was stuck somewhere being tiny. Not the rat. The rat said ratatouille and brought him back. That was good. I'm gonna write that down.
all right, you know what? Shout out to the rats. All right,
There you go.
We'll give the rat.
Somewhere one of my
Rats
somewhere,
Shout out
in
to
New York.
Splinter.
Yeah, you guys are very familiar over there in New York. Y'all got
Shout
the
out to
rats I've ever seen
Splinter.
in my life.
Shout out to Splinter and you know and all this.
And Pizza Rat.
Facts.
Pizza Rat deserve all the credit in the world.
For
He
real.
deserve all the fortune.
But my favorite
Watch out
scene
for the owls
was
'cause we're eating the rats.
when Kang finally had like that turn when when they were building his chariot back, shall we say, and she uncovers his motive. And you see him turn from just her buddy to, oh yeah, this is Kang the Conqueror. He was like, yeah, I'll lead you back to your daughter, and she was like, oh, what other worlds are you going to destroy? He was like, not yours. So it's like he had that switch, and I thought that was very interesting to see on screen. But what was your favorite scene, Jack?
I mean, with Kang, you mentioned Kang, and I had an opportunity to think about it, but I think I really just enjoyed the fight scenes. It showed how dominant he was and what kind of problem he's going to be as the MCU keep going on and going further. So I did like the fight scene where you had everybody, and when it looked like all hope is no pun intended, all hope is lost, and all the village or little tiny people to get together and they want to take over, fight back Kang, and Kang has just had enough and he's just beating everybody's ass. Oh no, I enjoyed that end scene where they were fight, because I enjoyed the fight scene, so I thought that was cool. And I thought the scene where just to tie it all up at the end, because honestly I thought in this movie Antman died. I thought he was going to die. I said I was prepared for it. I mean, I had no waterworks for him, but I was just prepared to see Scott either die or be stuck in the quantum realm, because there was that spot where he closed, and I said, "Oh, they're just gonna have it like this." Okay, all right, Marvel, that's ballsy. I'm with it. So I really like that ending scene and him fighting and just showing what Kang is going to be like.
All right. Well, I'm giving it 2 thumbs up. I enjoyed it. It was entertaining to me. Yeah. Oh, apparently, yeah. The Rotten Tomato score, it had an audience meter of 84%, but a tomato meter of 47%, which is really high. But I enjoyed it.
I'm laughing at my man Corey right here. He said, "Why everyone want Ant-Man?" It just seemed like by the trailer alone, Ant-Man was going to die. That was the vibe I got. And I won't say I was for it, but I was okay with it. I was like, bye.
Superior Society is representing heavy in the comments tonight. Thank you all for showing up.
Where's it? Where's that Jackpack Empire? Let's get that Jackpack Empire.
Not a one, not here tonight.
It's gross. We need to get that Jackpack Empire.
Where are the Groonies? Where are the Groonies?
Well, there's no sun, so plants can't grow without the sun and water.
It's too dark right now. It's too dark.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, like your chances on making this comeback. But I'm going to give it 2 thumbs up as well. Yeah, there we go. Make everyone laugh. But I'm going to give it 2 thumbs up as well. I thought this movie was great. This movie, maybe not great, but who's his American Dream real estate? Get out. But yeah, gross. But I did enjoy this movie as well. This is my favorite Ant-Man movie. This is not going to be, and because I saw them, they'll like rank all Phase 4 movies, so it's not going to be my top 4 or 5. How many movies? It's been 8, whatever. But it's not going to be my top 3, top 4. But I thought this movie was really good. I thought there was a lot on the line in this movie. I think that's what made me like it a lot more too. They were really fighting for something, and I can't wait to see more of Kang. And we're going to see more of him because I do want to talk about those cutscenes when you see all those Kangs, and you're like, man, Marvel's going to have it bad. Steve Rogers got out of here at the right time. Tony died at the right time. They don't have to deal with any of this crap. And Natasha is. Yeah, she probably just didn't want to deal with any of this stuff either. So yeah, I can't wait to see more King.
All right, Vic. Before we wrap it up, what's your favorite? Not what's your favorite scene, but what did you think of the movie overall?
Overall, I was definitely entertained. I really liked the layers of Ant-Man. I liked seeing Michelle Pfeiffer and just getting more of what's going on with her, and clearly this is a setup for more. Now, what's disappointing here is just that these things aren't big anymore. Like Infinity War was a big thing. You could see that they spent a lot of money in this movie, and they put a lot of promo into this movie. But it's definitely not hitting like before. I don't know if it's because of the shows and everything together. I just think that the market now is becoming a little oversaturated with Marvel stuff. Now, with that being said, the movie was still good. I'll give it a thumbs up. But I think the reason why people aren't necessarily reacting like they did before is because there's just an overload.
All right. Well, if you give us a thumbs up, don't forget to leave us a comment. Don't forget to share us with your friends. And don't forget to join us momentarily because we'll be talking about Knock at the Cabin. So tune in for that. And if your ears aren't bleeding,
I hope not. That means you need to go to the doctor.